Hi, my name is Alisa, and I graduated from Franklinton High School in 1998. During high school, I was very focused on my grades, so I wasn't very popular, but I did take part in sports and clubs such as track, NHS, played basketball. I also worked. I had a job the whole time. And in 12th grade, I actually had two jobs. I actually grew up in Youngsville, so just outside of Franklinton. And when I was there, it's actually grown quite a lot. We had two stores and one bank, and that was it. There was a lot of trees, and there wasn't much to do. There was definitely not much to do for kids at that time. I've been through there recently, and it looks like it's grown quite a lot. Um, and part of that, growing up in such a small town, is what made me want to be able to travel after high school. And so, whenever I got out of high school, I ended up joining the Army because I knew that my parents weren't going to be able to help me with college. And so I had to find another way to kind of to do that. And so initially, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do after high school. I had considered going into the medical field as a nurse, but when I went to the MEP station, which is where you sign up for the military, they didn't have any medical jobs open at the time, and so I ended up becoming a military police officer. I did that for 3 years, and then I got my GI Bill, which helped me to pay for an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, and most of my master's degree. Once I got out of the Army, I worked for a little while at a bank. And at this time, I was studying just business, general business administration. And I wasn't really sure where that was going to lead me. I just felt like the business field would give me more opportunity in different areas like human resources or management, leadership. So that was the direction that I went, and I just kind of kept my options open. Um, Whenever I got out of the Army, I worked for a little while at a bank. And then I worked also after that for two colleges. And during the time that I was working for those two colleges, I was still in school. Um, the At one point, I ended up going to Afghanistan to work for a college, but downrange, so that I could help other soldiers get into college classes and complete college work while they were deployed. That was a pretty exciting job. And I worked in that field for about 5 years. During my master's degree, I was working on my master's of business administration, and I got the opportunity to apply for a special fellowship opportunity. The year that I applied, they took only 8% of the people who applied actually made it into the program. And this program allowed me to start working with the federal government. And ultimately, I got hired by the USDA in Washington, D.C. And I was there for just about 4 years before I moved from the DC area over to Oklahoma because I was married to a military member as well. My husband was still active duty. After working for the USDA, I worked for DoDEA, which is the military school system. And then I was also on a special detail with the State Department. Mm, My last job, I was with the United States Military Academy at West Point. And now I'm currently working for the Pentagon, and I'm also completing my doctorate degree. So during my career path, as I mentioned, I just try to keep my options open and kind of just stay in the business field. I've done some different areas. I started off in finance. Um, After that, I was more of an administrative position, which included some budget. I worked in international religious freedom, writing reports. And then I was also a budget analyst, and now I'm back to being a financial management analyst. So most of my background is now in budget and finance. But I would say the biggest challenge to getting there was just life in general. Um, you can't always control everything that happens. At one point, I was a single parent, and so I was basically working during the day and staying up all night to do my bachelor's degree. And I would sometimes go to work and only have 3 or 4 hours of sleep. So it wasn't always easy. I just had to remember that I had a goal and I knew where I wanted to go. And every time something hard came up, I really had to focus on that and kind of make sure that I remembered where I was going. There were a lot of times when I just, in between classes, just relax and take it easy, kind of regroup, and just remember that, just because you have an obstacle doesn't mean that you can't get through it. There are always ways. It might take you a little longer than you had hoped, but I just kept reminding myself of where I wanted to be and what I wanted to become. And that helped me to get through the hard times. Um, the easier things on the career path, I think, was especially in the federal government, there are a lot of people who are willing to be mentors to you. And that's really helpful because sometimes you're not even sure how to get where you want to go. And you need somebody who's already there to kind of give you guidance and help you to move in that direction. And I just was really lucky, I think, that I found a lot of people who are willing to do that for me and kind of help me along the way. If you are interested in working in the government, I would say to focus on your grades and learn as much as you can now, because you'll be able to put all of that to use. In the government, there are actually lots of fields that you can go into. There's IT, there's business, there's human resources, there's maintenance. Basically, anything you can think of, the federal government probably has a position for it. And it's a pretty stable job field. Once you've done your probationary period, you're not guaranteed to have a job, but it's even if your job goes away for some reason, you they still replace you into a different position. So as far as that career field being stable, it's a very stable environment. Let's see. What was important for me to do or remember on my journey? Again, I mean, I had to remember that it didn't matter where I came from because, like as I said, my family didn't have a lot of money. I had a brother and a sister also, and so it just felt like I had to focus on my goals and I had to make sure that everything that I did was going to lead me in that direction. It doesn't mean that you're going to get there quickly, but I refused to let anyone else define me or say this is my worth, because I knew what I was worth and I was going to show everybody, what I was capable of. And I held on to my goals and I just kept working towards those goals. So if you're interested in contacting me about either joining the military and understanding what that's like, or working in the federal government, you can email me. My email is Alisa_Pehrson@outlook.com. My name is spelled a little odd, so it's ALISA_PEH like hotel RSON@outlook.com. I hope this information helps you, especially if you're interested in working for the government. Thank you.